Hey folks, it's Lord Zorblat here, and I'm going to stop this and restart it. It's sunny and beautiful out here in Oakland, California. It's like the perfect summer day. And of course, I'm inside hunched over my computer. Um, so go outside and play. Playing is God's video game. So sorry about the sound here. Got a truck passing by. I was making a video that had this sort of like in the background. It was a how-to video, and a lot of people asked like, "Hey, what's that thing? What are you doing? How do you make it?" So I'm going to start a series that's called I don't know, how to make my video game or video game making vlog or something like that. I haven't really thought about the title, but anyway, so here's my old game right over here. That's Liz and Cat. And this one, it might be called Yummy Bees or something like that. It's kind of a much more, it's kind of a name that rolls like the tongue. Anyways, let's just press play and see what happens. So I just wanted to give you like a little tutorial of like, what I do, what my thought process is. Sort of like the mentality of a game dev, or at least this game dev. So I work in Roblox Studio, but I also use, this is Visual Studio Code. I write all my code in Visual Studio Code because I'm a JavaScript developer and I'm used to it, and because you can do source code control, so that if you make a mistake or something like that, you can go back and just revert stuff, put comments in your commits. Anyways, so here's the game. Let's blow this up. How do we blow this up? Come on. I just saw this video. It said turn this thing to 1920 by 1080. Great video so far, Zorblat. Great video. What's going on? Did I lose? Oh, I guess it didn't have sound. I want to pull this window out. Okay. There we go. Pop this thing out, blow it up, and then I think there's supposed to be a way to change the resolution. You know what? Who cares? So, oops, I spawned in the wrong place. So, let's just take a little trip. So these yellow things are my positioners for my letter wheels. Like the letter wheels, I just put those yellow things in the code, and then the code looks and says, "Hey, is there a yellow thing?" They turn it into a bunch of spinning blocks. But as you can see, in creating my new stuff, I broke it. Here's the new stuff. This letter wheel works. So apparently there was a yellow thing over there, and now it's spinning trolls around. So let's jump. All right, we're in. So this is like the underneath version of it. And this is, as you can recall, while I was during my preamble, you could see just a bunch of hexagons connected by rods. The code takes all the hexagons and puts in a pretty hexagon, converts it to terrain, and it takes all the rods and turns them into, what do you call them? Bridges. So let's actually do this. Let's go into, hey, I'll teach you something new. Get back there. Come on, go in there. So I'll teach you how to fly around while you're developing. So you go to test and you hit your server and turn it into your server instead of your client. And then you can just fly around with your key commands. Super useful to know. I think even if you press play maybe while you're playing, like F5, it will automatically do this for you, which is nice. So if you're like in the middle of like a leap or something like that, you can do F5 and sort of freeze everything. So my character is down here somewhere. But yeah, so this is what I've been doing. I want to create a game where the paths are a little more like closer knit, and there's no way to just like run off the edge and become lost, because I watch people play my game, like probably 75% of them, they don't go the way I intended, and they don't end up like, doing what I think are the things you're supposed to do in the game. And they're like, I don't understand. It's really pretty, but what am I supposed to do? So I'm trying to restructure a little bit so you can't go wrong. You can't go to the wrong place. So I'm playing with like just the placement of, what makes a good runner. If kids are going to want to run at 30, a walk speed of 30, whatever it is, 30 studs per second. What kind of, hey, look at that, a grabber showed up. So some of my code is working. All right, I'm going to quit this thing, and I'm going to change the spawn. So if you're looking for your spawns, There's probably a lot of better ways to do this. I just do Command-Shift-X, type in spawn, and I've got a little bit of code that says, look for the spawn called, you know, fill in the blank, and then use that one to start. Actually, that's probably what I should do. I should use that code. So we're going to call that one spawn start. That's what the code's set up to do, and then this one we just sort of like comment out like that, run it again. So this will get us up onto the platforms. So I kind of ended up with two areas. You've got the, you know, running around on the platforms level. You've also got underneath the platforms level. So I'm going to put in some of those yellow disks, which in turn are going to, all right, so let's go at a slow run speed so I don't completely run off the edge. So let's do 30. I think most kids can handle 30. The problem is some kids can handle like 200 and some kids can handle only like 30. So I want to make it so that you can do both. So this is kind of, you're not getting bored because you're walking too much. And so every time there's an intersection, let's go down on the flats. Every time you're on the intersection, there's going to be like letters and you have to pick the right letter. And don't fall in the lake. All right, so yeah, it's going to look more like this, I think. I think the ups and downs won't be as dramatic, but I do want to have some good drops. So yeah, you'll be running around like this. Someone said put in just a run button. That's much easier than trying to track down like those things. Oopsies, I ended up on what I call the snowflake. So let me reset my character. So yeah, if you're expecting something more interesting than this, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I'm just kind of like vlogging, you know, this is my life. These are the concepts I think about. So I got a script that just turns my parts into terrain. So we want to get over there. So yeah, this is kind of what I do is I just like test out, like, you know, is this too cramped? Is there some good running you can do? So I want it to be like a runner where you're like just running as fast as you can, making these quick decisions, and you're not going to accidentally run off the edge. So I need to automate these pink ones so that if like this pink edge of the hexagon and this pink edge should automatically have walls. So I need to write some code that says if there's look for the endpoint of a bridge in the hexagon. If there's an endpoint of the bridge, don't do the wall. But if there's no bridge endpoint, put a wall, because then you can just run around as fast as you can and you're never going to fall off. So I feel like I need some ups and downs. So I'm playing with whoopsie daisy. Like this. Like this is cool because you can be like, oh, I see the bun. I think it's going to be called Run to the Bun. It ties into this whole complex world that I wrote about in a different video game, which now that I've got this kind of on its feet, I want to tie back in. So it's these two girls, Liz and Kat, and they learn how to read, and so they like run to the bun. But they're a bunch of like real, what's the appropriate word? That they're smarty pantses, I guess is like kind of one way to say it. And they have lots of bickering and do things that aren't necessarily the right thing to do. And it's lots of fun. So I need to work in that story into this somehow. I'm not quite sure how to do it. If you've seen my other game, Learn to Read with Troll, I had a little theater you could go to and read the story. So yeah, there's going to be blocks probably popping out of the pink things and like doing little rainbows and coming back down the other pink thing. And you got to run around and spell the words, and maybe there'll be like a timer, or maybe there'll be like a racetrack, and you can get your name on the leaderboard for doing it the fastest. But yeah, so this is where I've ended up today. You know, ask me any questions you want, like and subscribe. Oh, I'll show you the code. So I'm trying to figure out like, so here's my config for level 0. And in my game I'm building, each one of these hexes, it's detected. The folder that I go and I say, like in the code, look for the folder. Command-Shift-X. I say look for the Hex Islands folder. And everything in the Hex Islands folder treat as a different island. Well, that's my problem right there, I think. Yeah, so I've got them grouped into models just out of convenience. But so for each island, like this island's got some letter orbiter positioners. I got positioners for everything. They get swapped out for the real deal. Like this, whatever this is. Let's do F this and we'll find it. All right, so that is a disk that helps build the spinning blocks that go here that are broken. So what I'm doing is I'm going, oh cool, let's get some letter orbiter positioners. Actually, those ones are kind of like the right ones. So let's find those. And actually, I just went through this. So I copied some of those into the new place, and they are here. But for whatever reason, they are super giant. So let's check out the code. So how am I going to do this? You know what I'm going to do? I got a great idea. Let's take all the ones from the old stuff, and what time is it? 10:20. No, 11:20. All right, so I'm going to take all the ones from the old stuff, and I'm going to just move them into a temporary location in here. Now when we run it, it's only going to consider the new ones. And let's ungroup all the new ones. So Command U is ungroup. All right, cool. So each one of these represents one of those nodes. And it basically says, look at Hex Islands folder, get every child that's in Hex Islands folder, and then examine it for, you know, like stuff to build, like is there rods in it. So let's see if we can paste into here. I wonder if I still have that in my buffer. Let me just check that. Yeah, it looks like I still have that in my buffer. Nothing personal there. So let's say paste into, all right, so I pasted some of these yellow things into this hex island over here. I don't even know which hex island it is. So let's take them and put them over there, because when you, hey, come on, I'm frozen. Elsa. So we're going to use the align tool and say align everything with hex bridge positioner. So we'll go Command A to open up the align tool. Where is it? Oh, it's way down here. It's in a different window. Command A won't work for you. I linked that myself. So we're going to align all those three things with the last thing I clicked. Boop. Now hit F. Look at that. I moved everything over. I bet you struggle with that. How do I move stuff? You just use the align tool. All right, so yeah, let's move the spawn. Oh, let's use that super awesome trick where I can spawn wherever the camera is. So we will F here and get the camera right over it. Actually, let's just do top view. F it again. All right, now remember we programmed my mouse to spawn me at the camera position. I think it's function F6, so let's use the other mouse. See if that works. Come on, mouse. Well. This is not working. Come on. Man, I just set this thing up. So, all right, fine. We'll just do function F6. That should spawn me right here. And, oh, come on. Give me a break. Will you please work? Don't embarrass me. It should be function F6. What's going on? Play here. There you go. Oh, look at that. You can also just click it from up there. Teaching is a good way to learn. All right, got a little bit of Kent's intro music there. You know, let's go into the code. Let's change that. I want to hear Kent's music. So we'll go to add to base, and we will go to ambient is what I called it because it's some arbitrary name, and we will just say, just comment all this. It says if it's in dev, don't play the music because sometimes it gets a little bit too much to hear the same music over and over. All right, would you stop moving around for crying out loud? If you want to know that expression for crying out loud, like where it originated, have a kid. Have a kid. They're crying out loud all the time. Here we go. Woohoo! This is not what I wanted. All right, so here's the upshot. This thing is not spinning, so let's stop this. There's a button on my mouse to stop it. Go back into the code. go to Command B to close that. Let's go to that config file here. And I just put stuff in the middle that I want to play with. And so here's all the different configs that it's running. So let's just start out. The first island is going to do dummy. And I think if it runs out of them, it just cycles through them again. That's typically what I do with stuff. But let's just do this. Let's do Command D. Did that work? Am I mixing metaphors? No, Command, that is it. Command Shift D, Command Shift D. So now we're going to run a bunch of dummy. But let's configure dummy. I think CR C1 R2 has got some stuff in it. So this is the config that's got for a different one. So let's just put in order configs and bridge configs. So I've done everything to try to make it like parametric where it's all parameter based. Copy this, we'll put it in dummy and see if I can get that yellow wheel to spin. So now each one of these purple hexagons is going to use that dummy configuration. And let's try this. F this. We'll say play here. Oh my gosh. Who knew there was a button right there? There's just so many little tricks and tips. So it's kind of why I make these videos, because I've absorbed so many of them. I don't remember what all the cool things are. But if you just watch me do stuff, you'll be like, oh my gosh, how did you do that? Like, tell me how to do that. It's going to save you so much time. So that yellow thing did not turn into the thing I thought it did turn into. So you don't want to watch me debug this. I'm going to pause this. Oh, I got to get out of here. All right, so next episode, I'm going to show you how I debug that yellow thing not spinning, and it'll kind of give you a glimpse into like how I organize things so that they're modular and like composable, where I can just like shuffle stuff around and like use a config file to be like, put this here, put this here. So hey, if I get 1,000 subs, I can monetize this channel. So please, you could really do me a favor. If somebody just creates 1,000 accounts and subscribes 1,000 times, I'd give you some free Robux for that. Hey, I figured out how to get free Robux. It's a very closely guarded secret, but everyone's always like, how do you get free Robux? And you just start messing around with this stuff for a while, and you stumble on little tips and tricks. So I'll make a video on that one day. All right, bye.